What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we are in beautiful Medellin, Colombia. Show you guys out my window. This will be my first official video in this area. So I want to talk a little bit because I got some information, and some of you probably already know, but California, they have a framework now for their stimulus checks for gas. Okay, so California will be doing the same thing as a lot of these other states that are starting to implement these different rebate checks. There's a lot of money left over. Most states have a surplus, and the reason they have the surplus is because of all the COVID related money that pretty much was in the last 2 years. The federal government they had a lot of different programs, a lot of different money going to these states. The states didn't use all the money, so now they have a surplus, and some states are deciding to go ahead and issue those out as rebates. And so that's what California is doing. And what they're going to be sending out is $350 per individual, as well as if you have dependents, okay, $350 per dependent. And so a family of four would be looking at about $1,050. So that's pretty much what they're looking at. Now, there are some cutoffs when it comes to how much money you make. The first cutoff is $75,000 or less per individual. You'll receive the full $350. If you make, and I'm not exactly sure on the numbers, I just read the article, but I'll post more information so you guys can have that. And so if you're an individual making up to $125,000, you get $250. And then if it's a couple making between $125,000 and $250,000, then you'll also get that $250. And then if you make higher than that, then they'll drop it down to $200. I think it maxes out at $500,000 per couple. So that's a high. I mean, depending on where you live in California, there are a lot of very. You might be making $125,000, believe it or not, but you're not living in the best area because the cost of housing is so expensive in California. It's ridiculous. So that's what California is doing. And I think I did a video a couple of days ago where I talked about the fact that stimulating the economy during inflation is very, very dangerous. And I still stand by that. We'll have to see how this affects the people. But what's going on? I mean, the big problem is inflation is it's killing everyone as far as financially. And I just watched this, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys this little kind of a short little documentary. It's only about 4 minutes, and they're in California. USA Today did this little video clip, and they were just talking to people in California, talking about how much they're spending on gas. The average gas price in California is like $6.32 or something like that. So people are really struggling, and the economy is red hot. And businesses are making money, and the oil industry is making billions and billions of dollars, but the American people are suffering. They really are. And it's really tough to pay all this money for gas so you can get to work. I mean, it's just crazy. And so I don't know what they're going to do in the future. We're hoping that inflation will start to level off and then start to go back down. But right now, it's hard. It's hard on everyone. And so we have to understand, and we have to remember, I know you want to blame politicians, and that's fine. I mean, they should carry some of the responsibility. However, you also have businesses out there that are taking full advantage of the opportunity. They're saying, okay, inflation's here. We can just raise our prices. And when the customers complain, we can say, I'm sorry, it's inflation. But then when you look at their books and then you realize that they're making record profits, it's sad. I mean, look at the oil industry. They are making record profits right now, and they are raising gas prices. And all they're doing is blaming the politicians. It's their fault. There's nothing that we can do. We want to drill as much as possible, but we can't because of the politicians, even though a lot of these oil industry execs, they know that they have these permits and they can drill whenever they want, but they're choosing not to drill at the current time. So it's sad. It's a, this big game that's being played, and the people who are suffering are the American people. So in the future, we're going to have to see what happens when it comes to inflation and everything that's going on. But I did want to bring that information to you about California. So they have the framework. They have not passed it yet, so it still needs to pass. But you should see other states, and we've already seen other states in the past do this. They're going to start working on this surplus of money, and they're going to try to get out some of these different packages. Most of them have already done it because they were doing it for the budget for 2022, 2023. That's usually the best time for them to go over this kind of stuff, because that's when they see all the money that they have as far as a surplus. And they had to get that done by July 1st. And so we'll have to see if any other states come out with anything in the last couple of days. But I just wanted to bring that information to you. Okay, now I want to give you guys a quick update of Colombia. And I'm going to do this in video, just give you guys a quick little update. I always want to give you guys other opportunities. And I know I talk about this. Usually when I'm traveling, I talk about this. But we have to get to a point where we understand that the federal government, state governments, they're going to move slow. They're not going to move fast when it comes to helping the American people. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's not, the system is not good, because basically we pay into the system and then they determine where that money goes. And in a lot of situations, they will take their time sending out money to the American people, even though that money is coming from the American people. So I just want to give you a quick update when it comes to Colombia right now. I was gone for 2 months. I came back. Now I'm here again, and things are still good as far as the cost of everything. Housing is still pretty reasonable. This place that I'm staying in now, I'm paying about $25 a day, and you can find it for that price or even less. If we're looking at it for the month, it's usually about $300 to $400 in this area. So things are good. Things are good in this area. And I always recommend, if you can afford it, try to get out, try to travel to some of these countries and see how life is. And it could be an opportunity for you, because you could look at it in the future and say, hey, you know what? I can live there 6 months out of the year, or I can live there for just 3 months out of the year and then come back to the US and spend 9 months in the US and then go back to another country. And some people will actually do this, where they'll go to another country and they'll stay there for 6 months and they'll save up money. It sounds ridiculous, but you can save up money, especially if you don't have a house in the US, or if you're renting. Then you can rent when your lease is up. You can come to Colombia, rent out here in Colombia for 6 months, and then go back to the US and just keep doing that over and over again. And you're going to save money here. That's for sure, because there are a lot of people here that are living on their Social Security only, and they're living a good life. They're living in a middle-class community, middle to upper-class community, and they're making it work. And so in the future, I'm going to show some videos of just people doing exactly what I'm talking about, not just in Colombia, but in other places as well, just to kind of give you another option. Because if you do sit around and you wait for the government to try to figure out what the best game plan is to help fight inflation and to help fight all these different things, you're going to be waiting for a very long time, and you might not get the result that you want. And there are a lot of people that are out there, especially if you're retired. You should be enjoying life right now in your retirement. And there are a lot of people that aren't able to do that, and mainly because of financial reasons. And right now is a real bad time to be in the US when it comes to just looking at inflation and looking at the cost of everything. It's astronomical. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Now, if you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about today, please post it down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.